Hi, Ekktaa. Good evening.
Hi, Paras. Good evening. Namaste.
Namaste to you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How is this evening for you?
It has been quite a hectic day, different energy. Uh,
Hmm.
I would say getting better day. I mean, as the time goes.
Okay, interesting. So let's see how many people are joining in today, this evening. Good evening, everybody. Warm welcome to Mental Strength Professional, a wonderful theme by Ekktaa today, which is the 3c's for community building. I'm super excited to learn more and to understand what is in it for us and for the whole audience. So I really like the thing that is in the back of you. What exactly it means? Would you like to share with us, like that?
Oh, that one. It is something. I mean, it's a choice that I made to come up with this one because it's the passion, I would say, to contribute more, and it's about the voice that I have. How can I exercise it for parents?
Hmm,
So
interesting.
that is something. I mean, this particular quote actually resonated with my thought. So that's where,
Hmm,
yeah. Thank you so much for noticing that.
great.
Okay, so we have Shalaka saying hi. Hi, Shalaka. Hi, Pooja. Good evening.
So looks like a lot of people are looking forward to hear what are these 3C's for community building. I think it's a brilliant topic for this evening. So I think it's we can probably start the session now if everybody is in. So, good evening, everybody, and namaste to all of you. And welcome to another session by team of Mental Strength Professional. I'm Paras, Director of Dr. Paras Wellness and founder of Mental Strength Professional. So to begin, I would like to say something about us, who we are, what we do. So, we are a team of coaches, counselors, Reiki healers, hypnotherapists, mindfulness practitioners, NLP practitioners, who aim is to build mental toughness in people. As you know, since July, every week we've been live on MSP page as well as a YouTube channel, and we have come up with a lot of knowledge sharing series. And let us understand the motive behind it. To be very honest, it's an honest attempt by our team to spread knowledge as it acts as the biggest weapon to people who can use it to learn and develop and grow. And I think we've been trying to cover various aspects, be it understanding self, tools for self coaching, how to build relationship, parenting 101, and also a very powerful topic that we covered last week was about how pregnancy can be joyful. And most importantly, how can we all stay motivated in these tough times? I think MSP has, we've got a feedback from people saying that MSP has been a ray of hope for us. We watched, we learned, we could make peace with certain things. And the kind of knowledge that we received from MSP team was fabulous. So thank you all the speakers of MSP and including you, Ekta, for being so supportive and supporting and creating a difference, not just in people, but the community at large. And I think today, a lot of conversations are not just moving about how am I in this world or how is my family. Now the conversations are going deeper to building a beautiful community at large. And how can we really, really do efforts to survive together and travel from this tough space, not just you and I or a family, but as a whole community or a system.
Sure.
So let's move on to our today's session. I'm sure everybody is very excited to know what's coming up. So in today's session, I have Ekta, my sister, a wonderful mental health worker. Welcome, Ekta, and would you like to say hi to everyone?
Of course. Hi, everyone. Hi, Pallavi. I would also like to say hi to Mum because she was the first one to say hi. Even Janvi ji, hi. And how can I say not say hi to you, Paris?
No, that's great to have you. I think we've been talking a lot about this topic, and I'm so excited to hear today. So, Ekta, if I'm not wrong, you asked me to change your topic for September, I believe. I find it really interesting that you've chosen to speak today on care, community, care, compassion, and communication. That is the 3C's for community building. Such a brilliant topic and such an important topic for the need of the hour. So I'm very curious to check why you choose to speak on this one. And also if you want to introduce yourself for the audience who could be watching you or your session for the very first time. So over to you, Ekta.
So, Paris, thank you so much for setting the ground. So, first of all, hi everyone, Namaste, I'm Ekktaa. I am director of Dr. Paris Wellness. I am into life and spiritual coaching from last 5 years. Uh, I would rather say I have an additional 10 years of work experience in the field of corporate trading. Astrology is my passion, so I've been, carrying out a lot of research and studies in this field. I would say I'm a philanthropist at heart. Contribution and giving it back to the society is something that is part of my belief system. I would say it's my root. It is something that motivates me, it keeps me going. Compassion, care, contribution are something that I always voice out. It is the need of the hour. So yes, I am a co-founder of Tavamitram, which is a non-profit initiative. Like Paris, let's move on to today's topic. Like Paris mentioned that I changed this topic all of a sudden. It was last week when I told him I want to change my topic for September, and he was really being generous. The entire team of MSP was very generous to say yes, go ahead, try out whatever you like. So coming back to today's topic, honestly. Looking at the chaos around, what's happening around, I actually thought of, doing some research for my own self. And then I decided, why not share this research with all of you? So the topic is the 3 C's for community building. That is care, compassion, and communication. And I insist the word communication because that is my theme. So let's first understand what is communication and its importance in the community. So I would also like to throw a question at the audience, whosoever is watching. You can definitely share your views as to why is communication important for our community, or what is the role of communication in our community. So to begin with, I would go ahead with the basic definition that we were taught back in our school, in our college, or what we studied. What is the meaning of communication? It is nothing but exchange of ideas, belief, information, knowledge, thoughts between two or more people. So whenever communication process is successful, there would either always be a sender as well as a receiver. So I would say the most important factor between communication being successful is the space between the messages exchanged. Now you would wonder, what is this space all about? So, if I have to give you an example, when I hear something from you, so at that point of time, I would say, I can pause, think, and reflect, and then possibly respond. So, my research says, that particular space can give us a choice as to what do I answer, or rather, how do I answer. My response to your dialogue, is it going to push me away, or is it going to get me more closer to you? Why to hurry in replying? Why not make the best use of that space, think, and then communicate? There is something beautiful that I read in a particular article. It says that the way you communicate with people, it can pull them towards you like a magnet, or it can also repel people just like a very poisonous snake, a deadly snake. So every time when you open your mouth, do question yourself. What I say right now, Is it going to pull people towards me, or is it going to push them away? And to this, I have a beautiful quote from Michel Mazur. Uh, this quote actually, is the crux of what I want to say. When people act on your message, the quote goes this way: when people act on your message, they begin to change. They don't just change their behavior, but they change their identity. They begin to become someone new because of your message. And this message only means communication has the power to change the core of who someone is. So it is you who can make a difference by the choice of words you wish to exercise and also the tone that you would want to use. And trust me, this is the need of the hour. Please ask yourself, how am I communicating with my own self and also with the people around me or to the community that I belong? So it's something which is very, very powerful space. I want to hold the space. And Paris, would you just like to share this quote, in the comment section with people? And if there is any particular thing that people have mentioned that you would like to share. Paris, I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
No. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just trying to check the questions. If there are any questions so far, just give me a minute. I really like that quote, Ekktaa. Thanks for bringing that quote here. Yeah, the quote goes here. Am I right with this? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so far, I think Shalaka has, shared about, to answer your question, the earlier quiz that you asked her.
Yeah.
I really like the way you asked everyone. It really provokes everyone to think about now from self to the whole. So she says that I feel communication is foundational for building connection, real connection. That was brilliant. Thank you. So there are no questions so far, Ekta. I think we can continue.
Absolutely. Shilaka, thank you so much. That was brilliant effort. What I read is you mentioned about communication being foundation for building connection. This is absolutely bang on. Thank you so much for participating. Rest of you, if you have any questions, if you have any queries, or if you want to share your reflection, please go ahead and share in the comment section. So now let us move on or understand the overall impact of pandemic on communication. In different aspects that we are in, like, different aspects like family, schools and institutions, society or building or locality that we are in, workplace, as well as community at large. Let's understand that. So when the lockdown was announced, that was somewhere in March, 24th of March 2020, in the initial days of lockdown, everyone was in shock. No one had an idea about what's going to happen, where are we moving ahead, when is this going to end. There was a lot of chaos, there was a lot of confusion. In the beginning days, I remember first 15 days, how much shock I was into. And yes, later on, slowly, there was an acceptance because human tendency is to accept or to succumb to the current situations and accept it. And yes, with that acceptance came a lot of uncertainties which persist even today. We all somewhere restless inside. So covering the aspects, first let's talk about the most important factor that is, or aspect that is family that we are in. Members all together locked in one house. The elders and children being vulnerable in the same space. And yes, they need to be protected more. Their physical needs, their emotional needs to be taken care of. And I remember most of my friends talking about how their children get bored and their elderly people, how homesick are they getting, how frustrated are they feeling, because this situation is something that no one has dealt with. And that particular pressure was, I would say, was on the shoulders of the middle-aged group who play the role of parents or who play the role of children to elderly people. So so many responsibilities or tasks that they had to undertake. Going out once in a while for grocery, that was grocery planning. You can't go frequently whenever you want. Then taking care of sanitization of the house, self, cleaning everywhere, cleaning everything, because there were no maids, no cooks. Everything was managed by the couple. Cooking, working from home, because bread and butter is equally important at the same time. Uh, Taking care of children's education, entertaining them, all of it. It was really, really, the list would continue, a lot of tasks and so much of pressure. So definitely there was a change in dynamics of communication within the family members. Unknowingly, the pressure was definitely passed on to people around. Let's move on to the second aspect, that is schools and institutions. With the given situation, no one was ready. And yes, for preventive measures, children were not supposed, and even today are not supposed to go out. They're supposed to be at home. And yes, how can we stop studies? Because their development is very, very important. Children are the future of our country. So the schools didn't have a choice but to offer digital way, that is online schooling classes, and which was a major pressure not only on the students, but their parents, and most important factor, the schools and their teachers, because none of them were practically trained how to operate, this learning system smoothly, the online system smoothly. And there was today there's highest dependency of, on internet. So if the internet is not working clearly, your child is going to suffer, and that's the pressure even a father or a mother carries today. They feel so restless. And as I'm sharing this with you, most of you could resonate who have children as to what I'm saying, because this is purely from my research speaking to various parents. The third and most important aspect about the locality, society, or neighborhood that we stay. When I say society, I talk about the building or the bungalow system, wherever you stay. So, the fact that the other person may be suffering, so being not sure if the other person is impacted. So to safeguard self, the way people have started communicating, I would rather say they have stopped communicating with each other. Because if you look, even the eye contact, because if you look into someone's eyes, you have to talk, you have to smile. So that's where people have completely stopped looking at each other, stopped talking to each other. I remember back then, or even just a month ago, when some patient was found in some locality or a building away from where I stay. There's so much of panic. Maybe that particular locality is away from me. And suddenly, that particular message that flows around in the, in the society group and all, it is just like you thrust or you push, you just go ahead and, pass your pressure to rest other people. And then the fear-mongering thoughts come in picture. In some societies, I also remember older couples staying alone, or single older gentlemen staying, single old woman staying. They literally had to experience a lot of issues, even to take care of their basic needs. Trust me, it has, this particular situation and how initially we've dealt with it, it has left a bad taste to people's mouth. And this has, actually motivated me or told me, or rather motivated me to do my research and come across with such a topic. The next aspect that I'm going to talk about is workplace. Yes, I remember the days where working from home was kind of dream to everyone. Everyone was like, oh wow, you work from home, you must be having such a lovely space. But today, if I hear from people, they're complaining, oh, I want to go back to office. It's boring sitting at home. It's like, in the current situation, yes, people are experiencing pay cuts as well as long working hours. And that's like everyone is okay with it because that is naturally adjusted looking at the current situation. I remember a couple of my HR friends, they told me, how they would just call for some reason and how it would, give chills to people in their spine because of the layoffs happening. So there is certainly a lot of fear even at workplace, which is getting converted into anger or sometimes a passive aggressive behavior or even a submissive approach towards others. So if you notice the dynamics, how it is impacting us at different levels, be it family, be it education society, education system, be it society that we are in, even at workplace, and last but not the least, the crux of all why we are here today is community at large. Now, at present, the society or community that we are in is operating from various emotions, and that is impacting our social behavior, I would say. For example, if I have to say fear getting converted into insecurity or anger, and let's not forget the triggers. So, how we communicate always has a ripple effect or impact on the community at large. We transfer the emotions, expressions, messages, permissions, belief, values, unconsciously or consciously, to the community at large. So we really, really need to be mindful about the behavior that is getting manifested in the system. And that's how we all are contributing towards our system. It is a powerful one, and I want to take a pause here because community is formed because of all of us, and let's all put our I mean let's all take collective efforts and conscious efforts to make it a better place, not only for us but for many more generations coming in future. So Paris, let's before we move ahead, do you want to come up with some comments or some questions if you don't mind?
Yeah. So Shalaka says here all the aspects you shared are so relevant and so critical, and I personally feel they're very sensitive, and I think you're really bringing out a space where it's the way we it's like the infinity cycle where my behavior has an impact on the community, whether it could be so small, maybe my rudeness or my compassion has an impact on on the community at large, and the community has an impact on me. So it's pretty intense, I feel. But thanks, Ekta. It's beautiful. I mean, like powerful. One of a quick question that we have from the group is like rumors and like misleading information leads to a lot of chaos in communication. So, can you tell us a little bit how one can deal with it? Is what somebody's asking you.
Okay. So so what I understand your question is how can one deal with communication chaos? Is that right?
Yes, you're right.
Sure, sure. So, well, that's a beautiful one. Communication chaos is a wonderful term. It always talks about confusion in communication. So I would say due to social distancing, we are not able to meet each other. So the current situation, it has led to highest dependency on various social media platforms that we have. So we don't move more towards the television now, but it's always about Facebook or WhatsApp or any other medium of communication on social media. I would say a simple forward of a message which we are not even sure about. It can lead to spreading of rumors, spreading of unnecessary information, which can further lead to too much of confusion. And trust me, it adds to a lot of fear, anger, rage, sadness. So, I would say we all need to be mindful about what message am I forwarding or what messages or videos am I forwarding to the others. I personally have stopped forwarding messages which I'm not really sure about. Some research that has come up on the current pandemic from different angles, but we are not sure how relevant is that information. So before I go ahead and forward any particular message, I started questioning myself, which I'm going to share with you guys. First question that I ask is, what impact will this particular message that I wish to share, what impact will it make on an individual if I choose to forward this message? Because if I choose to forward this message to a particular individual, he's further going to transfer it to somebody else, because forwards is very quick and easy. So we need to first check how am I impacting this particular, how is this message going to be impacting a particular individual? And the second and most important factor is, I would say, what value am I adding in spreading this information while sending this information to an individual? because it is somewhere going to be forwarded to somebody else, because that's how the message reached me. So, that's what I would like to say, Paras. I hope I answered the question. I tried my best.
Yeah, I think you're also highlighting the sensitivity of how uh, whatever I'm sending from my system, what kind of impact it would have at the community at large. So I think that's a very important to be sensitive. And thanks, I'll be very mindful, because sometimes you just send it okay, it's an interesting message, but how if it's not backed with research? I like that question about what you asked right now, that what is the impact which will it make if I choose to forward it? And I think uh, something we need to all be mindful about. So thank you, Ekta. I think we can move on with our session. But can you also tell us more about the current scenario, and how can I choose to follow social etiquette?
No, that's a spot on thing, Paris, about social etiquette. Before moving ahead or talking about social etiquette, let us first understand the changing dynamics of communication in current times. So yes, things are different. We are all experiencing a different situation. So the dynamics of our communication are also changing. So my research, here says that the highest dependability is on social media. So not only social media, but also on internet for banking transactions, for ordering stuff. Most of the people are, demanding that you pay before you, get a particular delivery. Uh, Online payment is being asked now for safety reasons. And that's where the older generation is experiencing a lot of issues, a lot of inconvenience, because they are not accustomed to the new norms. Another aspect is social distancing. The never ever experienced thing that we are undergoing right now is staying away from people around. Third most important aspect is we we don't go ahead, and if earlier days we were, if I'm bored, I would go to my friend's house, or we would meet outside, or there would be housewarming parties, or some mini get-togethers. But now we are restricted for safety reasons, so there are no more visits to each other's house for safety purposes, no more house parties, no more mini get-togethers. I also remember some people asking me, or rather mentioning it to me, what I have forgotten to socialize. And will I be able to gel again? Ekta, what do you feel? Will I be able to communicate like earlier? This was a question asked to me. Will I be able to communicate like earlier? Will we be normal again? Okay, that was a tough one. Let's move on to the next. Yes, unable to gauge the gestures. The gestures, how do I gauge someone's gesture? Because there's a mask now. For safety reasons, we've all been told, yes, we need to cover our mouth and nose. So this particular part of our face is always covered. So if I smile inside, frown, I'm angry, I'm sad, no one will be able to understand what's happening to me. So yes, that is the non-verbal communication there is impacted. And yes, for safety purposes, we can't hug each other. We can't shake hands. So the way of greeting has also changed. So if you notice, the current situation is telling us to explore more and more new things. And yes, for safety purposes, if you notice, the in-person celebrations, like we used to have earlier, birthday parties, marriage celebrations, it has lessened now. It is restricted. There are many more, but I just thought of mentioning a few. And while I was, I'm mentioning it to you, I still can feel how different it makes a person feel. And this is certainly, leading to create a lot of unsettlement in a person's mind. Even while I'm sharing this with you, I'm feeling so much of restlessness within me. And on the other end, people are actually trying to create a balance, because the human tendency is to cope up. Initially, it's up mode, then they move on to coping up to accept the situation. So people are now trying to create a balance. At one end, we all want to have a safer environment, not only for ourselves, but for family members. And on the other end, there is also some frustration, that we are not able to go out. We're not able to exercise our freedom. We can't socialize. So somewhere, between the two, the unlock is happening or has happened, and slowly, steadily, we are moving ahead. So we all need to prepare ourselves not only physically, but also mentally for the unlock that is being exercised recently. So now here comes the social etiquette part. And let me begin by saying that following social etiquette is, it is your contribution to empower the community that you are in. And I'm not saying something new. This is absolutely something told to us by the guidelines of government, by the guidelines of WHO. So I'm just going to tell it in my own words. So let's understand social etiquette on physical front, on how can we be mindful. Most important factor is adhering to the norms of social distancing, which is told us which has been, told us by the government. It is must. One needs to maintain physical distance between two people. I guess it's 6 feet. So ensure that you have that much of distance whenever you're outside in public place. Covering our nose and mouth is of extreme importance. So please wear a mask in public places wherever applicable. Wearing a mask is not just for your own safety, but it is also for the safety of the other people. And here we are all about, we need a healthier community. So the more and more precautions we take, it is not only for us, but it is also for the others. The other aspect is following regular hygiene, like, sanitization, cleaning your hands, not taking your hands near your face, your nose, your mouth, your eyes. Be mindful about that. Teach your children gently about these certain gestures, because they need to know why is it important not to always, move their hand around their face. The next most important factor about that one needs to be really mindful is, when individuals can practice yoga and practice yoga as well as meditation, and that's how it will help us to keep going. It will help us to be motivated. Another aspect on physical front would be intake of regular meals, good food, enough water, not to forget the vitamins, minerals, protein intake, very, very important, fruits, and also vitamin D, natural vitamin D, go in the sun, that is very, very important. And yes, mindful communication. There would be a lot of suppressed emotions in individuals. So when we come out, there would be an outrage or sudden breakout of emotion. So listen to care, listen to understand, try and see if you are able to maintain that balance. And as I'm sharing this with you, I would say it is my duty also to take care of it. We spoke about, on physical front, how can we help to build a community or make our community a better place. Let me now talk about on emotional front, how can we build our community. And in my research, I would say I came up with 4 important pillars. I would say these 4 important pillars are important for building a stronger foundation of our community. And they are humanity, respect, care, and open dialogues. So let me just give you a brief. I'm not going to go at length to talk about it, but I'm sure you all have your own ideas. And trust me, as I'm saying this, if you're able to reflect back and resonate with what I'm saying, you can definitely write it down in the comment section. I would be happy to hear. And any further points that you would like to add in, please go ahead and share it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to see. So let's talk about the first pillar. What is humanity? So like Paris sometime back he mentioned about not just I, but we. So humanity is not just about I, me, myself, my home, but we need to think about broader spectrum or larger spectrum. We need to think about how can I make a difference in somebody else's life as well, but in my individual capacity. How can I be a better human in my approach and expression? And this is the time that we exercise humanity with people around. Try and see, or if you have really made a difference in somebody else's life, please do write it in the comment section. I'll be happy to hear. The next and second most important pillar is respect. Let me tell you, difference of opinions is bound to happen. No two human beings are same. We would all have our different opinion about a government, about a political view, about cricket match, about any particular aspect. Please ensure that you give respect, you give that space to listen to other person's views as well. Respect each other's views, because As community, we all need to be together. I mean, don't indulge in fights. The fact that we all need each other, it talks about, it demands respecting other person's views, other person's privacy, other person's importance, opinions. It's of equal importance. And the next important factor, which is very, very near and dear to me, the third pillar is care. I would say to begin with, why not indulge in self care? Self care is often misunderstood as being selfish. But if you really want to give care to others, you need to first take care of your own self in every possible way. And when we talk about taking care of others, I would say the choice of words play a vital role. You can make a day of a particular person or you can break a person. So please make effective choice of words, how you convey, the tone, and little deeds of kindness. It can actually spread joy and happiness. One of the beautiful gestures that I exercise, and I would request in your possible capacity, please do exercise. Donation is one of the best ways to express care. And the final pillar is open communication. I would say have open dialogues with your friends, with your family members, if it is possible. If you feel you can't share any particular information with your friend or a family member, do share it with a confidant. So you may have some person in your life whom you share anything and everything with. Talk to that person about your authentic feelings, about how you feel about the current situation. Talk about your underlying emotion. Trust me, it will make you feel much, much better, much, much lighter. Prepare yourself for a better tomorrow. And only you can make a difference in your life. And to support these four pillars, or to support whatever I mentioned right now, for our community at large, if I really need to communicate with respect, I have a beautiful quote shared by Albert Einstein. And I insist that we all, take a moment and reflect on this and see if we can actually exercise this. In his quote, Albert Einstein, he mentioned, "I speak to everyone in the same way, whether it is a garbage man or the president of the university." So do think about this particular quote and see if you are able to exercise your communication style in a similar manner. Demonstrate respect and care to anyone and everyone, irrespective of the roles they play in the society.
Ekktaa, I think the screen looks frozen. Just give
Okay.
me a minute. Uh, yes, it looks better now. What a fabulous thought about what you've been sharing with us right now. And I have some quick question from a friend of mine, as Movena. She's asking that, Paras, hi Ekktaa, I'm wondering how the pandemic is affecting older people who may be digitally excluded and how coaches can help. So maybe that's something that you would like to share with us. And I have a lovely statement by Shalak. I absolutely loved it. Prepare for better tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question here that how coaches can be supportive for people who are older. And I think you addressed some portion of it. If you would just like to quickly highlight it.
No, thanks, Morvena, for that particular question, because that is something which again I'm going to address in my in my certain things that I'm going to address further in the session today. The older generation, I would say, people who are older, they definitely have I would say they don't have enough training or lack of know-how when it comes to technology about internet banking, transactions. How do I order online? It becomes really difficult for them. So I would say, first of all, as family members, it is our duty to go ahead and educate them, explain them until and understand until unless they understand it to the to the core. And as coaches, like you mentioned, I would say, if they come back to you asking you for it, you can tell them that they need to give themselves that time, give them that time to absorb the new knowledge that they are getting in. Because patience is the key here. That's what I feel. Because I see in my house, my father, he experiences frustration because time and again it becomes very difficult, he tends to forget. So then giving that space to your own self is very, very important. So as coaches, you can definitely help them to deal with their emotions in a better manner, be more patient, be more kind towards self, because you're learning something which you have never taught in your life. But you would have, I mean, the dependency on internet is so high, which is in the current times, which no one ever thought earlier. I hope I'm able to answer that, Morvena and Paris. Would you like to add in anything?
Yeah, I really liked it, and I could empathize with you with this question as such, because patience is a powerful quality one needs to develop. It's like a competence. You need to start exercising it. Uh, as you know, you spoke about our father, and also I resonate that when I was small, when something new was there, my father taught me with a lot of patience. He said, "Hey, Paras, you can make mistakes, make many mistakes. I'm there with you." So I really feel that empathizing with this space would be very helpful. Also, Ekta, I would like to, I like that quote that you just said. I'm just going to put that here. I couldn't just stop myself sharing. Treat everyone with respect, no matter their status, the garbage person or the president. It is important for the humanity. It's like community is a space where we're all humans, but are we treating each other as humans? That's something which comes to my mind.
Absolutely, Paris. Each of us are playing different roles assigned to us at different levels. We're all the same. Demonstrating the four things that I mentioned, it is needed. It is the need of the hour to support people who are in dire need, or to support people who are suffering from COVID right now. Love and care is one of the best medicines that we can offer to people around us who are in pain right now. So let's move on to the last part or last
Yeah.
segment that I would say.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Ikta.
Mhm.
I'm just going to put you off video and going to switch it on again. Just give me
Sure.
1 second. Yeah, it just went off. Yeah. So very curious to check with you that would you like to help us out to talk about the new normal, which you talked about the other day in our MSP meeting? You know, when we were having a meeting, you talked about this new normal. Would you like to elaborate a bit?
Sure. That's going to be the last segment of our today's session, the new normal. And why do I say new normal? I call it as a new normal because the dynamics of communication, meeting each other, greeting each other are changing. So, first of all, there is no more hugging, there is no more shaking hands. It's all about namaste, and that's the part of our tradition. It is a gesture to greet people. It is a gesture to show respect. It is a gesture to say hi. So one of the aspect of new normal is namaste. So embrace it, I would say. We also got to remember that social distancing is just a physical distancing. Emotionally and mentally, we still can stay connected. And yes, we can stay connected by a message, by a phone call, when I say phone call, I mean voice call, or also even a video call. Um, Third and most important aspect when I say new normal is online transaction. And like Morvena had asked us about online transactions, about older generation. So I would rather say, first of all, even we need to be safe and mindful about while we go ahead and do online transactions, and also educate the our people who are elderly at our home, as it is very, very difficult for them to grasp everything. We all need to demonstrate extreme patience and kindness and respect and care while we are dealing with them, because it is a tough time for them. At this age, they need to again reinvent how to order something, how to get something for themselves to fulfill their needs. So trust me, be a little patient with them. Also, if you're not invited for a particular function, it's absolutely okay. Don't get disheartened. I would say no invitation for a particular function is a sign of safety. That's the new normal. Please take appointments anywhere and everywhere possible, so that you are helping the community by not rushing in the last minute. you give enough time to the other person to take care of the routine hygiene that is being advised to them by the government officials. And yes, because of social distancing norms, there would be a lot of, many of us would be standing in queues. So have that enough time planned, plan your routine accordingly. And I would also say don't get frustrated because you have to stand in queue. So I would say that's all from my end. I wouldn't go further, but I would just say getting adjusted to the new normal, the new norms, to the unlock what is happening slowly, slowly things are opening up. Give yourself the time to understand, give yourself that particular patience to deal with things around, and try and demonstrate the four pillars that I mentioned: humanity, care, respect, and open dialogues. So, Paris, over to you. That's all from my end for today. Do we have any questions, queries, or any comments to that?
Sure. So first of all, Ekta, thank you so much for this profound session. I think this is the need of the hour for all of us. I like especially the last part of the sentence that you spoke about: take prior appointments and respect people who are standing in queues. So it was very, very important and very sensitive that you address it so beautifully. But thank you for coming up with this such a brilliant idea and empowering people. So everybody, thank you so much for being with us. We are on the top of the hour. So Ekta, first of all, thank you for joining us and making the session so powerful. And I also like to thank all the audience who've been watching us and sharing your feedback and about topics that you would like to learn more at regular intervals. So now we're moving to the closure. So to schedule a session with Ekta or any other mental strength professional, please visit our website, that is www.mentalstrengthprofessional.com. I'm just putting that on our ear. Okay, there we go. Yes, and you can alternately reach out to us at on our mobile phone, that is 8260-112233. I repeat it again, it's 8260-112233, and the code, the international code is +91, that's India. In case of queries, please email us and we'll be happy to write it back to you at info@mentalstrengthprofessional.com. So, Ekta, any last words before we say goodbye to our team, to our audience?
Sure, Paris. I shared a quote with you this morning, if you remember,
Yes.
on communication. And that's how I want to close the session. I would say, the art of communication is the language of leadership. It's by James Humes. So, listening to everyone, or rather, I would say a closing note from my end. Let me know how you are exercising your leadership today by adapting to the changing dynamics of communication in the tough times. Would be happy to hear. Please write it back to us on the email address that Paras will be sharing.
Yeah, that's info@mentalstrengthprofessional.com. But there's a brilliant part of the piece that you talked about, leadership. I think it's a high time for us to take charge and support the community at large. So thank you, Ekta, once again. Namaste to you joining and all the audience for being with us. So for more knowledge series and updates from our team, please follow us on our Facebook page and Insta handle. It's Mental Strength Professional. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Dr. Paras. So once again, I wish you all the best. Thank you for your patience, and maybe this learnings you can inspire many more people and build a better community at large. So have a lovely evening, morning, afternoon ahead, and goodbye for now. Cheers.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for your patience. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, Paras. Bye.
Bye.